Alright, so the Russo brothers recently had an interview and they wanted to speak about Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, two films that they will be filming back to back in about 2 weeks. Everything is almost set. They have some sound stages already prepared in order for them to not put out some leaks that we might see, right? Because they do want to keep everything under wraps. It's a very exciting time to be a Marvel fan. But the Russo brothers do have a big goal, and they stated that they do want to outdo the previous Avenger films. Like, they want Doomsday and Secret Wars to be better than Infinity War and Endgame. So this is what they said: we at least have to take you on an equally engaging journey, so we're doing what we can to deliver the experience everyone, I think, hopes for. So the fact that the Russo brothers just said that they want to, at the very least, at the very minimum, equally engage us in this journey, it is a really high bar. Super high bar. So part of the reason why I want to speak about this is because what made us love Infinity War and Endgame so much, because that's what's going to give us a idea on what Doomsday and Secret Wars will need to do in order for them to at the very least match the last two Avenger films. I also do want you guys to comment down below, what do you believe Doomsday and Secret Wars need to do to at the very least match Infinity War and Endgame in terms of epicness, right? In terms of excitement. I did write down 5 different ways Doomsday and Secret Wars can match the previous Avenger films. So point number 1, I do think that Doomsday and Secret Wars need to have the culmination of the story arc that we have been witnessing since post Endgame. Like, you must conclude all films and make sure that there is closure. It'll give us a sense that, okay, this era is ending and now we're embracing a new one. Point number 2, we need to have emotional depth. Like, for example, when we saw Iron Man die in the movie, or Black Widow die in the movie, or we saw some people sacrificing themselves or being blipped, a lot of us were affected through that journey. We need to have that type of emotional depth because we felt connected to the characters. If the Russo brothers can make us get connected to whatever characters are in Doomsday and Secret Wars, then that would be a huge plus. Point number 3, the visual spectacle, right? You need to give us great epic action sequences and stunning effects. I do not want to see some cheap CGI, something that looks like it probably got made in some dorm room by some college students. You need to make this movie look very good, because when we saw Infinity War and Endgame, it was outstanding visually. Point number 4, give us the cultural impact. Like, make us get excited for this movie. Like, we want to see a lot of fans come out and say, this was amazing, I'm gonna go out there and see it 2 or 3 more times. We do need to know about the box office success, etc. We need the world to be talking about these 2 movies. The marketing has to be on point. And point number 5, fan service. I know that a lot of people are not big fans of fan service. Like, people just think that Marvel like to do this to cheapen their way to creating a good film, but I do believe that Doomsday and Secret Wars need to have fan service. I mean, like, it's part of the reason why post Endgame the 2 most successful films have been No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine. Those 2 films created a lot of fan service, and so as much as the people do like to hate on fan service that is created by Marvel, it does bring the money in, and a lot of people want to see it. So you must have fan service, just like Infinity War did and Endgame did. Now, I want to go into further depth on some of these points. Most importantly, the story arc, the emotional depth, and fan service, okay? We're going to be taking away the cultural impact and the visual spectacle moving forward, because there is going to be questions, right? Like, what is the culmination for the Multiverse Saga? Like, what is the big overall story arc? And I get it, right? There's a lot of confusion, because in the Infinity Saga, the big story arc was that Thanos was coming. And we also knew that the Avengers were separated, and that because they were so separated, they could not win against Thanos in the first movie, right? It was just the overall story arc. We saw also some stones through the Infinity Saga and different projects, and we all knew that in a few years, Thanos eventually was going to come and collect these stones from these people, whoever did have them. Once again, that was the story arc. But what is the story arc for the Multiverse Saga? And I did point out 5 different things. The emergence of the multiverse and its consequences. We have been reminded about that over the past 4 to 5 years, and especially during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. This arc actually kicks off with the shattering of the sacred timeline in Loki season 1, which unleashed a web of branching realities. The multiverse burst wide open open also in Spider-Man No Way Home, where characters from different universes collided, and it gets even messier in the Multiverse of Madness like we have stated, and really solidified this story, which introduces the chaos of crossing between realities. So this storyline does delve into the instability of the multiverse and the dangers it poses, setting the stage for bigger conflicts ahead. So we could very much see the culmination to this storyline in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Point number 2, I really do think they're going to be making a full circle on Kang the Conqueror and the Council of Kangs. Kang the Conqueror is a time-traveling mastermind who first appeared as He Who Remains in Loki Season 1 and later as Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. In the post-credits scene during Quantumania, it did tease the Council of Kangs, a legion of Kang variants from across the multiverse, which was hinting at a massive showdown. We have yet to see the Multiverse War, by the way. This arc here also positions Kang as a central antagonist with his manipulation of time and reality, which also does drive the saga towards a climactic battle. I really do think that because Kang is so in tune with the multiverse, Doctor Doom is going to have something to say about this. Point number 3, we can also go back to the incursion threat. Incursions are catastrophic collisions between universes that could wipe out one or both realities. This looming danger adds a ticking clock to the multiverse's instability, suggesting that heroes like Doctor Strange and potentially new characters like the Fantastic Four will need to step up to prevent total destruction. It's a really high-stake arc, and even characters like Doctor Doom will have answers to stopping the incursion threat. Hence the reason why some Marvel characters, right, some heroes will see Doctor Doom as their hero. I also believe that there's another story arc that should be concluded, which is the rise of the Young Avengers. We have been getting hints at the Young Avengers getting formed. To see a conclusion post Secret Wars where we're now going to enter to the Mutant Saga, knowing that the Young Avengers do exist, that is something that all of us want to see. We have already met Kate Bishop in Hawkeye, American Chavez in Doctor Strange, Kamala Khan in Ms. Marvel. The Multiverse Saga has been planting seeds for this new generation of heroes. And now lastly, which is the one that I do think a lot of us are going to like, it is the introduction of mutants and X-Men. Marvel has been planting a lot of seeds for this through the Multiverse Saga, for sure. We did not get this in the Infinity Saga, but for sure a lot in the Multiverse Saga. During Ms. Marvel, we have seen Kamala Khan, who is now a mutant. We also saw Beast in the post-credit scene for the Marvels. We have seen Professor X in the Multiverse of Madness. We now have seen Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine return in Deadpool Wolverine. We have also seen Gambit and other X-Men characters. Marvel has been hinting that we are slowly getting integrated into the brand new era of X-Men. I do think that one of the jobs that Doomsday and Secret Wars have to do is explain the reason why we have not gotten the X-Men in the MCU so far. There has already been rumors stating that He Who Remains has wiped out the X-Men and the Fantastic Four from the 616 universe. Hence the reason why over the past 15 to 18 years we never saw these characters in the MCU, but in other universes they have existed, and Marvel has been trying to tell us that they are coming, and I believe that we will see them in their full glory as a full team during Doomsday and Secret Wars, which is going to be gigantic for every Marvel fan. It is a story arc that we are going to be seeing conclude that will set us up for the Mutant Saga after Secret Wars. If you really think about it, the Multiverse Saga does have a job that the Infinity War Saga did not have, and that is to set up the next saga and to transition us towards a world where there is more heroes and characters that we do love. The Infinity War Saga did not do that. That was just the end, and we had to start from scratch. The Infinity War Saga only helped us and gave us the beginning of the brand new Avengers, and that's it. But the Multiverse Saga needs to bring us the brand new Avengers and set us up for the next saga that contains the Fantastic Four, Midnight Suns, X-Men, and the Avengers, and also the Young Avengers. As for the emotional depth, here's the thing, right? If there is one thing that the Russo brothers need to get right, it is for sure Doctor Doom. If you want us to be emotionally connected to somebody, it has to be Doctor Doom, and especially knowing that it is going to be Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom, we want to be able to understand Doctor Doom and have a relationship with Doctor Doom. I really do think that it is possible to build Doctor Doom in one movie and he can still come out legendary. Because for example, look at Darth Vader, for example, in Star Wars. He did not need 10 years of build-up for the audience to understand that this guy is the biggest threat and is the best villain of all time. Darth Vader only needed about 2 or 3 movies, maybe 1 to 2, and already he was legendary. And I believe the Russo brothers are going to be aiming to do the exact same thing during Doomsday and Secret Wars. The Russo brothers also explained that it's a very intense process developing the character. Robert Downey Jr. is so immersed in it. He is so dialed in. Dialed in is good, but again, I'd also be dialed in into anything for millions of dollars. But then he said RDJ is writing the backstory, doing the costume ideas, and I think he just really loves rich three-dimensional characters, and I think he sees a real opportunity here with that character. So right now, Robert Downey Jr. is working a lot with the character, right? Trying to create a villain that all of us could love. Back on August 2024, RDJ also explained how he met with Kevin Feige and what he thought about playing Dr. Doom, and he stated, "Feige told me, how can we not go backwards? How do we not disappoint expectations? How can we continue to beat expectations? Let's get Victor Von Doom right." So you better bet that at the moment, the one thing they want to get right for sure, out of all things, even if the X-Men narrative was not good, or the Incursion narrative was not good, or the Kang narrative is not good, like even if all of those things do fail, the one thing you cannot get wrong and you must conclude correctly, it is Dr. Doom. And then lastly, right, it is the fan service. Like, what do I mean by fan service? What do we want to see during Doomsday and Secret Wars that can be better than Infinity War and Endgame? And I do believe that one of the things they should do is have Dr. Doom kill Thanos straight out of the comics, because it will be so crazy to see where like 8 years ago we saw Thanos own Iron Man in everything. Like on a physical battle, Thanos always won. But can you imagine the opening scene for Doomsday and we see Dr. Doom kill a Thanos variant just like that, just like straight from the comics? That would be insane, right? The audience will go bonkers. Another one could be, let's just say, Andrew Garfield finally fighting aliens as Spider-Man, right? He did state this during No Way Home. It's a payoff to what we saw back in 2021. Or we could see Tobey Maguire finally meeting Hugh Jackman, right? One playing Spider-Man, one playing Wolverine. We always wanted to see the OG superheroes in the same scene. It would be legendary to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. We have been dying to, like, anybody here who is born in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you guys would understand what it would mean to see the two actors finally interact. And then maybe we can also see the OG X-Men and the OG Avengers also interact. We get the OG cast from the X-Men of 2000, 2004, 2005, 2006 in that era, and also get the OG Avengers from 2012 through 2019. It's two separate cast groups that was created by Kevin Feige, and I believe that he wants to make that happen and culminate in Avengers Secret Wars. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.